Hello friends. Now today we will discuss about various cell organelles which are present in the eukaryotic cells. We know that eukaryotic cells contains the membrane bound cell organelles. So let us start with this membrane bound cell organelle. Now there are various cell organelles like mitochondria, plastid, then nucleus. These are double membrane bound. Numerous cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, lysosome, all these are single membrane bound organelles, and certain organelles are there like ribosome, centrosome. These are membraneless organelles. So one by one we will go to the various types of cell organelles. Now, the first cell organelle which we are going to discuss is the mitochondria. We know that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. In eukaryotic cell, mitochondria is the region where from the energy ATP molecules are produced. Now, if we go on for the structure of mitochondria, we will find that it is double membrane bound organelle. Clear? There are two membranes, outer membrane and inner membrane. In between there is a space called perimitochondrial space. Clear? And the inner membrane is not as simple as that of the outer. The inner membrane contains a lots of foldings which are called cristae. Now outer membranes have some pores. Clear? These are porins, and the inner membrane which are folded to form cristae, clear, they contains the they contain various the respiratory, clear, electron transport system. There are electron transport system associated with the F0F1 particle. This is the F0F1 particle which is also called oxysome. Clear? This F0F1 particle actually is the region which is this F1. This is the F0 particle which is just associated with the inner membrane, and the F1 is projected clear outside, which is associated with an ATP synthetase enzyme. So it provides the region for the synthesis of ATP. Clear? This synthesis of ATP is this region since it is associated with ATP synthesis enzymes, it provides the region for the synthesis of ATP. Now this inner membrane is highly folded as because to provide maximum surface, clear, to provide maximum surface so that more ATP production or more the electron transport system. Now, inner to the inner membrane is the fluid filled area which is called matrix. So, inner to inner membrane is the fluid filled area which is called matrix. This matrix contains the enzymes for the Krebs cycle. This matrix contains the enzyme for the Krebs cycle, and as apart from the enzymes present in Krebs cycle, so aerobic respiration, so mitochondria is the site of aerobic respiration where this pyruvic acid is broken down to finally is broken down, and with the energy, with the release of energy. So, and another interesting thing about mitochondria is that it also contains some amount of DNA, RNA, and 70 is ribosome. So it contains some amount of DNA, RNA, and 70 is ribosome. Clear? So mitochondria, it was assumed that mitochondria previously was a independent organism, prokaryotic organism, which remains symbiotically associated with the cell, but later on it became a part of the cell because it has various similarity with the prokaryotic organism, as because it has single circular DNA, it has 70 ribosomes which are, so mitochondria can produce at least to some extent its own protein. Clear? It does not have to depend, to some extent it does not have to depend, though it is a very limited extent, but still it can produce its own protein through its DNA, RNA, and ribosome. So it is called semi-autonomous organelle. Clear? To some extent, semi-autonomous organelle. So, and so next we are going to discuss another double membrane bound semi-autonomous organelle which is present only in the plant, that is the plastids. We know that plastids are present only in plants, it is absent in animals, and there are three types of plastids. One is the leucoplast, which are colorless, which stores food, clear, and according to the storage of food, leucoplast can be divided into three types. They are the elaioplast, which stores fats and oils, alurinoplast, which stores proteins, and amyloplast that stores the carbohydrate. Clear? So there are three types of leucoplastid according to the storage of food, and they are mainly found in the region where the foods are stored, like in roots and all, and they are colorless. Next is the chromoplastid, which contains various pigments. Clear? Various pigments like xanthophyll, keratin, and imparts color to various parts like flowers, fruits, etc. And the most important and significant is the chloroplastid. We know that chloroplastid, which we will discuss here, this chloroplastid is also a double membrane bound organelle, and it is also having its own DNA, RNA, and ribosome, circular DNA and 70S ribosome, which and as a result, it is also semi-autonomous. It can produce its own protein to some extent, in a limited extent, and it is also assumed that chloroplastid also, this plastid also retained as a independent organism with symbiotic associations with the plant cell, but gradually it becomes a part of the plant cell. Clear? As this semi-autonomous machinery is there, so it is assumed that it was actually, basically it was earlier, it was the symbiotic, is an independent organism which was in symbiotic association with the plant cell. Now, what about the structure of chloroplastid? We will discuss now. Now, if you go on for the structure of chloroplast, you will see that it is double membrane bound organelle. Clear? Two membranes are there, outer and inner. Now, internal structure, if you go on for the internal structure, you will see there are numerous, the fluid filled area in the within the plastid is called stroma. There are numerous sac-like structures which are piled together to form the structure which is called granum. Singular it is granum, plural it is grana. Clear? And this grana contains numerous thylakoids. You can see here, these are the sac-like structures called thylakoids. Now thylakoids actually contains they have specific areas called quantosomes which contains the photosynthetic pigment. Within the thylakoid, there are specific areas called quantosome which contains the photosynthetic pigment. Clear? Which are the chlorophyll. And these grana are interconnected by stroma lamellae or fret. So these grana are interconnected by stroma lamellae or fret. The stroma is the fluid filled region which contains the most abundant protein on earth, which is rubisco. Clear? The enzyme, all the enzymes in relation to dark reaction of the photosynthesis are present in the stroma, and stroma also contains DNA, RNA, and protein. And so now there are in certain plants, C4 plants. In C4 plants, we will see that the bundle sheath chloroplast does not contain this grana. Clear? In C4 plant, the bundle sheath chloroplast, the grana is absent, and that is called agranal chloroplast. So this is about chloroplastid. Clear? Which it is a double membrane bound with lots of grana inside. Generally, a typical chloroplastid has 40 to 60 grana with 2 to 200 small flattened thylakoids, and it contains a specific area which is called quantosome where these photosynthetic pigments are there, and the stroma contains the rubisco, RUBP, clear, the which is the rubisco is the most abundant protein in the biological world. So these are all present in the stroma, and these grana are interconnected by stroma lamellae or fret. And so this is about the chloroplastics. And now we will discuss about the single membrane bound organelle. Clear, there are certain membrane organelles which are single membrane bound, and these are endoplasmic reticulum, this Golgi body, lysosome, and so they form the uh, endomembrane system. The endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, lysosome, vacuoles, all these are highly interconnected and they act in a very coordinated fashion. And so these four together forms the endomembrane system. Now we are going to discuss one after another the organelles which are there in the endomembrane system. So first of all, endoplasmic reticulum. So you can see here the endoplasmic reticulum. These are made of interconnected network of membranous cisternae. They are made up of interconnected network of membranous cisternae, and they may extend from the nucleus to the cell membrane, or sometimes they may be confined to certain extent only. Clear? And these are metabolically very active, well developed in liver and pancreas. Clear, in liver cells and pancreas they are very active, but they are comparatively inactive in the storage cells like adipose and all. Now, if we go on for there are two types of endoplasmic reticulum. The endoplasmic reticulum where there is no surface structures, clear, they are called smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and the endoplasmic reticulum where the ribosomes are attached on the surface, they are called rough endoplasmic reticulum. So smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum, they are basically the two types of endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum, they are basically the two types of endoplasmic reticulum. Now, smooth endoplasmic reticulum or SER, that is without any surface structures, clear, they are mainly meant for synthesis of lipids, steroid hormones, clear, like the hormones present which are released from the adrenal cortical cells, testes, ovaries, these are generally produced here, and they in liver they helps in detoxification of drugs, and in the muscles they helps in muscle contraction by the release of calcium, clear, release and uptake of calcium. So smooth endoplasmic reticulum are without any surface structure. They mainly is meant for the formation of lipids, steroid hormones, etc. In liver, these are very active in detoxification of drugs. In muscle cells, they release and uptake calcium and helps in muscle contraction. So they are. Now, what about the rough endoplasmic reticulum? Rough endoplasmic reticulum is rough as because they have the ribosomes attached on the surface, and we know that ribosomes are the protein factories. So this rough endoplasmic reticulum is mainly meant for the associated with the synthesis of proteins. The ribosomes here attached are the 60 subunits of ribosomes are attached here mainly, and these ribosomes are attached by the two glycoproteins, lipofulin 1 and 2. These in muscles, these endoplasmic reticulum are called sarcoplasmic reticulum, and in nerves, the endoplasmic reticulum is mesocyl granules formation is associated with the endoplasmic reticulum in nerves. So this is about the endoplasmic reticulum. So the next cell organelle which we are going to discuss, it is a part of the endomembrane system, is the Golgi apparatus. Clear? This Golgi apparatus, you can see here, they have the sac-like structure called cisternae. There are certain tube-like structures which are called tubule, and finally there are round spherical bodies which are called vesicles. So it contains sac-like structure called cisternae, some tubular structures, and round spherical structure called vesicles. Now this Golgi apparatus, it is first discovered by Camillo Golgi, and in plant cells, these cisternae are not interconnected. They have a separate cisternae, and there it is called diptyosome. But in animal cells, these cisternae form a sac. Generally, it is a stack of 4 to 8 cisternae are there. So it forms the Golgi apparatus. Now, Golgi apparatus have different polarity. Clear? It has transphase and it has cis phase. This is the cis phase and this is the transphase. The convex phase is called the cis phase, whereas the concave phase is called the transphase. Now, the sacs on the forming the cis phase are associated with endoplasmic reticulum. Clear? There are the certain sac vesicles which are coming from the endoplasmic reticulum, and this cis phase is associated with the endoplasmic reticulum, and the transphase produces the vesicle. It contains the degree of vesicles, is the Golgial vacuoles, which generally budded to form lysosomes. Clear? So it is the region where from the substances which are modified in the Golgi body enters in the Golgi body. Clear? Generally the proteins which are formed in the rough endoplasmic reticulum, they are modified here. They are packaged, they are modified like formation of glycoprotein, glycolization of the glycoprotein. Clear? The lipids which are formed in the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they are also formed here in the Golgi body. They are also modified to form glycolipids. Clear? So these are the Golgi body mainly helps in packaging, modification, and finally they are released to the transphase. So cis phase is for receiving those proteins, lipids from the endoplasmic reticulum. After the modification and packaging, they are generally released to the transphase, clear, through the lysosome. Now, in various cells like acrosome in the sperm, they are formed from the Golgi body. The Golgi apparatus helps in the recycling of the broken plasma membrane, clear, during endocytosis. When there is certain breakdown of plasma membrane, this Golgi apparatus helps in recycling of the broken plasma membrane. Most of the proteins that are synthesized in endoplasmic reticulum, clear, in the rough endoplasmic reticulum, they are converted to glycoproteins in this, and so these are the functions of the Golgi bodies. So the next organelle of the endomembrane system which we are going to discuss now is the lysosome. Lysosomes are basically the pinched off vesicles coming out from the Golgi bodies forms the lysosome. Now they are involved, they are single membrane bound organelle and mainly involved in intracellular within the digestion within the cells. It is intracellular digestion and contains lots of hydrolytic enzymes which can digest various proteins, fats, carbohydrates, etc. Lysosomes were first discovered by Christian Dubé, and lysosome in cell, clear, are found in various forms. So they are called there is polymorphism. It shows in various forms. They are called polymorphism. In certain lysosome, we will find that they are newly formed lysosome, which are called, clear, the primary lysosome. In certain cases, when they are comparatively matured lysosome, it is called heterophagosome. The primary lysosome forms the heterophagosome. Now, after the digestion of the substances, when this lysosome contains the left out with the undigested food or undigested substances, it is called residual bodies. And when there is an worn out mm, when there is an worn out organelle in the cell, then numerous lysosome, they are united, numerous primary lysosome unites here and surrounds that worn out part of the organelle, and ultimately surround this or worn out browns. So what happens when there is certain, suppose the endoplasmic reticulum or any part is worn out, clear, it has been damaged, then this primary lysosome surrounds them and ultimately digest by autodigestion, then they are called autophagosome. And during this autophagosome, that is the autodigestion, they not only digest those parts, but they also get it digested, they also digest themselves also, and finally themselves also get destroyed, and so they are called suicidal bags also. As we become aged, our mitochondria decreases and our lysosome increases. It helps in intracellular scavenging, in heterotrophic nutrition, in metamorphosis during the tail of the tadpole larva is digested by the lysosomal enzyme. So these are about the lysosome. And now the last part of the endomembrane system, that is the vacuole. We know that in plant cell we find a large vacuole. In animal cell, vacuoles are comparatively very small, and plant cell have a single large vacuole. And this vacuole is surrounded by a fine membrane called tonoplast. These vacuoles stores lots of substances like food. Here there are food vacuoles which stores food. There are certain contractile vacuoles which helps in maintenance of buoyancy and osmoregulation by releasing the water clear when they are required and by adding the water when they are required. And there's certain vacuoles are there which mainly contains the excretory products, and they finally moves to the end and finally bursts off and releases the excretory product, so it helps in excretion. So various types of vacuoles are there in prokaryotes, in the especially the photosynthetic bacteria we find, like purple bacteria and all, we find gas filled vacuoles, but in eukaryotes we find fluid filled vacuoles.